Well, today everyone, we've got a case of meeting your heroes, or your hero bikes, I suppose. Husqvarna 701 Supermoto. I've been eyeballing these since 2017, but I've never even got around to pulling the trigger on a test ride, let alone buying one. So I think it's high time we had a go. First impression, not as tall as I was expecting, and shorter as well. It's a nimble little thing. We'll just have to see how she goes. Take it nice and easy. Oh, it's very strange. I've been on Triumph Bonneville, so yes, very odd compared to that. God, it doesn't feel how I expected it to feel. It's different. It's not like, it doesn't feel like just like a dirt bike with upright bars. It feels very solid. It's not, the suspension is firm. Let's try and pull in and get my sat nav on the go. This is a bit of a, oh, this is very different. Oh, it sounds good. Fucking hell. This feels like a proper sort of angry beehive of a little engine, but whether or not it can actually chill when you want it to, that's going to be the test. So yeah, let's go. I've got a nice, about an hour's route, but that's not silly little horn. That's not accounting for faffage and whatever else. So far, first thing I've noticed is the levers are way too high. Terrible positioning of the levers, and the foot pegs are very like in towards the bike. I keep putting my foot on in thin air, you know, because the foot pegs are like, it's a narrow bike. I've been on the Bonneville, which feels a bit wider, but so far everything feels quite natural with it. Looking down at it, there's not much bike ahead of you. I expected it to be longer, I have to say, but it's a very nimble little thing. It's nice. You let off the throttle, it doesn't lunge. Getting on it's a bit jerky getting back on the throttle, but nothing horrendous. Can't get over how different it feels to how I expected. The seat is an actual plank of wood, like an honest to God plank of wood. But wow, we need to take it easy because I've seen enough YouTube videos on this bike to know what a wheelie machine it can be if you're not careful. I've gone the wrong way already. Oh, it's so weird being on a single with so much pull. I'm used to the monkey where you just gun it and it doesn't go. This one really does. Now we're in mode 2, which is the most aggressive mode. Full power, 1-to-1 throttle map. It's not too bad in terms of the old being hectic. I mean, yeah, it's a big single. You can feel the inertia of it wanting to do what it wants to do. Like there, I tried to leave it in third and it just wasn't having it. It feels like a smaller bike. I thought 701, oh, that's the big boy, you know. That's the big one. But so far it's very, very agreeable. Someone's smoking a fatty. Oh my God. Nottingham traffic is absolute balls. Well, we're getting a bit of town work in. Not what we expected, but there we go. Seems fairly agreeable thus far. Yeah, it's got a very willing engine. It doesn't feel like it's chugging. It almost feels like the idle's too high. I'll have to push through. This is outrageous. Should have gone left and then right. That was my mistake. There's a nice thing. The bars are so high, it goes over saloon mirrors. This is ridiculous, man. What a joke. It sounds nice when you rev it up. It's very... It's brappy. It's brappy. Of course it's brappy. It's a fucking 690 single. This is such a bizarre feeling bike. I would love to get it on the open road and see what all this weirdness translates to. Oof, already it's a bit brutal on the bum. Brutal on the bum. Yeah, the idle is really high. I'm wondering if they've done that to counteract lean fueling conditions. God, it's so brappy. That is good. This seat would need to be addressed though. It's so solid. I can't believe how firm it is. It feels firmer than any other dirt bike I've ridden, that's for sure. It's crazy. This would be delicious with a bloody exhaust on it, I tell you. Get me out of Nottingham, please. Oh, there's a blue car. Yes, go. Fucking hell. This place is a fucking traffic nightmare. I'm using my whole test ride on this pissing traffic. Effortless overtaking. It's got so much punch. Yeah, so what I would say, my initial impressions are firm suspension. I thought it was going to be ironing out the bumps a bit better than this. It's very firm, very racy, but it still dives forward when you come to a stop, weirdly. Engine, very brappy, very satisfying to wind it on and hear it brap. Not as lumpy as I feared it might be, but not ultra smooth either. It's kind of, it's hit the mark where it needed to, I think. Seat rock hard, no debate on that. That's fine. Overall feel of the bike feels small, feels nimble and short, and not as tall as I expected, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Yeah, feels nice up to speed. Now I'm getting up out of town, it feels good. Downshifting manually is nice, very smooth, gets down through the gears lovely. Nice clutch lever action with 2 fingers, it's well adjusted in that regard. Oh, it changes direction like ridiculously good. Oh wow, that does not go like any single I've ever ridden. That is ridiculous. Okay, we're in cruising gear, we're on a dual carriageway. It's noisy, I've got a lot of wind noise, I haven't got turbulence. I knew it would be, I'm not wearing my earplugs because I like, when I'm test riding a bike, I like to hear the mechanical noises of it, you know. It kind of adds to whether it gives you that quality feel or not. So we're in 670. We've got a little bit of vibration in the grips, but a pair of grip puppies would sort that out. So much pull, still got bags of pull. Definitely not struggling for that. Yeah, it feels quite composed it definitely feels more composed at speed than it does creeping around town. And yeah, it's a little bit bumpy. I don't know how much you can do with the suspension in terms of getting a more plush ride. That's my preference. But you know, this is a razor sharp machine. That's what they're going for, so I get it. Oh, the blipper's nice. The blipper is very smooth. Yeah, feel actually quite nice on the national speed limits. Not just like nice for a Supermoto, it feels nicer than the Bonneville. Not in terms of like sheer comfort, but I mean the Bonneville's are uncomfortable in different ways. This is uncomfortable in the sense that the seat is a plank of wood. Everything else about it is actually quite nice. You've got a little bit of vibration in the bars and in the seat, but it's a single and nothing major. You've still got so much pull even in 6th gear. It's nice and smooth. Like you can, like I'm just chugging along now in 2nd. Off the throttle, on. It's a little bit, but nothing major. And yeah, I do feel like I can just kind of chillax a bit on it. Out of town, this bike is getting better and better. Plenty of power, so much power. Oh, the blipper down, beautiful. The power is manageable. Oh, that is nice. That is really nice. I was expecting a rampant beast once you got it up to speed, but actually the quicker you go on it, the more relaxed and it feels like it wants to work with you that it gets. It's really nice. It's a strange feeling. It feels like a small bike and it feels really nimble, but then you get it up to speed and then it suddenly feels a bit more confident and reassuring and capable, but without being too razor sharp and snatchy. It's like you've got all that leverage on the bars. You just lean the fucker over, get it around the bend and then give it a boot full. Quick shift is beautiful. Dump it into the power band and then you've got everything you could ever want. Yeah, it is zinging. For a single, it is zinging. Yeah, I like the quick shift to blipper situation on this. It is shit at lower speeds. It's just like, yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm shit at low speed changing, but that's not what it's for. When you are up there, it's buttery smooth. That's the opposite of the Ducati. The Ducati is alright, it works in town, but why do you want a quick shifter in town? Like, that's not when you're doing sporty riding, is it? Look at that. It's just very nice, very nice. And then you can, look, I'm in 2nd there and I can just pick up the throttle without worrying about too much at all. Exit 2 again. Like, yeah, look, just off the throttle, on, off, on. That was a little bit jerky, I'll give it that. You can get your leg out. This is nice. This is nice. And then you can leave it in 6th and it is a chuggy brappy dirt bike, but a capable one. Yeah, this is a nice package. It's a totally different experience to a 600cc sport bike. I'm comparing this to test rides I did a number of years ago, but I've got the videos of them. I go back, I've rewatched them to get a sense of what those bikes delivered and why they were so good. And this is different, but really fucking cool in its own way. And I feel like something like this, I'd be getting it out of the garage more often, you know. It's one of those bikes that you'd have in the garage and it's just like, yeah, let's go out on the Husky, let's go and be a little bit naughty. But you know, saying that, we're in a 30 now. It's happy in 3rd gear, can hold a steady throttle, and you know, going on and off the throttle is not too bad. It does get a bit chuggy. It wants to be in second if you're going 20 and third if you're going 30. It's not too friendly if you stray too far out of its where it wants to be. But it's just a case of keeping it where it needs to be, isn't it? It's just so addictive, winding it up and hearing it go. Oh, fucking hell. That wasn't good, was it? Woo! Yay. I think there's a sign to relax a little bit. Or is that a sign that this bike is not good for my health? Encouraging that sort of behaviour. Please don't pull out. That was not good. That was not good by anyone's stretch. You could view it on the other hand though, that it had enough power to pull me out of the situation. Shouldn't have got myself into it in the first place there. Well, it's just so weird being able to exploit a single cylinder engine at such high speeds. It feels so right and so wrong. What if we drop it down a gear? It just gets even more. Wow, this thing goes! Holy shit, this thing really goes. Oh my god, the brakes! Wowza. This thing is quite a machine. I love so many things about this bike. I love how it's tall, like, that's comfortable when you're 6 foot tall. I love how the engine is so brappy and punchy, but you still have to work it. It's not like brappy punchy like these twin cylinder engines where they're just, you get torque everywhere but there's no excitement. This, it gives you those wide-eyed fucking hell, it's still going, like that kind of speed. Oh my god. Scared myself. I've scared myself a little bit here. Oh, those brakes are good. Yeah, quick shifter and blipper are actually quite nice. I expected them to be pretty poo on a big single, but as long as you use them in anger, they are wonderful. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I could definitely ride this one home, I think. As long as I didn't think too much about my ruined bum. It's quite nice to not have a big screen in your face as well, actually. I know it's all about the TFTs and that these days, but it's not always what you want. We're seeing bikes, that's always a good sign. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull in, put some earplugs in and just try and have a nice windy chill time, because I've been giving it shit so far, and you know that's not the only style of riding available, is it? So yeah, let's gear indicator, that's quite nice. Hey, maybe we do a little bit of a show and tell as well, shall we, while we're here? Oh yeah, we'll switch her off. There we go. Bloody hell. Yeah, definitely a bit of a sore bum action. Ay. It's not just the burritos I had for dinner last night either. And there she is. Is it just me, or does it look smaller in person? I know you're seeing it on film, like, that's the same as any other YouTube video, but yeah, I don't know, like, I mean, look, if I stand next to it, it's not even up to my waist. Like, proper dirt bikes are they're a lot bigger. He's having fun on his was it a KTM? Some kind of single. He's absolutely blatting it, loving it. Another good sign that we're on the right roads. Yeah, I am enjoying it so far. I really am. And looking at this demo bike is in good condition. Normally they're a bit battered. Yeah. Really nice. I think I definitely do prefer it to my Ducati. It's got the rampantness of the Ducati with a bit more chilled nature. It's not massively chill. It's never going to be as chill as like a Ninja, where you've got that inline four just purring along, but it really makes the most, or it makes the best out of a bad situation of, you know, like trying to make a single smooth is that's a hard situation. It does really well. And yeah, it's just so unusual. Like, it's a real eye-catching bike. I'm normally not a big fan of grey stuff. You know, everyone getting grey Audis and stuff, but this colour scheme with the grey and the high vis, it's pretty nice. Sort that tail tied it, but yeah, it just looks so compact. Yeah. Oh, he's coming back. So yeah, I'm gonna put some earplugs in, check the footage looks okay, and then we'll be away again. Okay, got my plugs in, footage looks good, sounds good. We're gonna crack on with the test ride, and yeah, we're just gonna go for a bit of this and see if it can do that, because I mean, we all know a bike like that is going to be able to do maniac mode without breaking a sweat, but can it do chilled out, you know, stick a bit of fucking Oasis on, I don't know what, you know, I couldn't think of anything, Red Hot Chili Peppers, that's it, stick a bit of that on and just flow through the lanes, you know, and just fucking get the fizz, get that fizz when everything just comes together on a bike, you know the one. Let's see if it can do it, because if it can do that, then it's pretty damn close to getting a big thumbs up and getting bought, perhaps. Yeah. Lovely. It just feels naughty. It feels like a naughty bike, you know. I think it was always going to as well, wasn't it? So yeah, let's have a nice chilled play. We'll see if we even can, you know. Maybe I'll be unable to. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Down at these sort of speeds and RPMs, it's very, very smooth, very relaxed. God, there's so much inertia from that single piston engine going up and down. It's actually shaking the earplugs within my ears. I don't think I've ever felt that before. When I put the gas on, it's like some kind of propeller in my ears. That's crazy. I didn't notice that without the earplug. What the hell? The big single doesn't play. Alright, remember, we're on a chilled one, supposedly. Oh god, it's so bumpy. The suspension. It's tiring. Oh. I'll have to do some research to see if that can be fixed. It's giving me a headache. Suspension is just too sporty. It doesn't need to be that firm for the street. This has obviously been designed as a Supermoto for the street. So why have they felt the need to make the suspension rock solid? You would think with the amount of travel available they'd be able to come up with something that could be sporty and compliant, but apparently not. Hang on a minute, what happened to chilling out? It's gone out the window again. Yeah, combine that firm suspension with the firm seat, it's quite a lot to deal with. So yeah, the Red Hot Chili Peppers and chill test, it's kind of I'll give it medium 6 out of 10 on that, but that's just purely because of this rock hard suspension. Everything else, like controlling the bike wise, is lovely. Let's try a nice relaxed overtake this time. Lovely. Well, I'm pleased to report it's not so much of a rampant wheelie machine that you can't keep the front wheel down. You do have to do it on purpose. Suspension gets a little better at speed. through a set of bends there. Fuck me. There's nothing quite like it. You can just attack them with a vengeance. Oh god. I think you could solve it with some adjustment, but it is disappointing that it comes out of the box so goddamn bumpy. We'll carry on. Oh, I think I just needed a break. I was just getting the bumpiness. It's just really ruining it, unfortunately. I mean, it's nice when you go through a set of bends and it just wow, you know. But if it means that going down back lanes is just unbearable, it's not worth it. But yeah, I'm guessing, I mean, those are going to be high quality components, so you would imagine that there's adjustment there. Oh god, that air feels so good. Holy shit. I can't get it to wheelie either. I've either got no skill, I'm worse, or a bit from column A, a bit from column B. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty damn perfect. Apart from the bumpy ride, it's, yeah, exactly how I hoped it would be. It's a real fun machine, this. Maybe I've got wheelie control, I don't know. I think I am just being a bit of a puss. I'd say I'd prefer the riding position of this. I like the way you can, the handlebars, you can just move it around, you know, at your will, at your smallest whim, you know. I like the nature of the engine. It's a really good natured engine. It's like rappy and racy, but also it does concede some livability, which is really nice. And it's a hot day and I haven't felt any heat particularly. It's a little bit hot when I squeeze the seat there, because that's where that big old cylinder is, but apart from that, it's alright. I thought the hard seat would be more of an issue than it is, but you've got so much freedom to move around on it and to stand up and move off the seat that I think it would only become a real problem if you were sat on the motorway for a long time. It is good at this sort of stuff, apart from that fucking suspension obviously. But like riding position, being high up is so wonderful in traffic. You can see over hatchbacks and even like through the front windows of SUVs, which just allows you to plan ahead more and therefore relax a bit more. The engine, it's really, they've done quite well with the low down fueling, I have to say. The throttle pickup, I can be very gentle with it if I want, or you know, you can gun it a bit if you want, but yeah, it sits at 30 really nice, and the Ducati just doesn't. It's constantly like on the throttle, off the throttle. Like, you try and hold a steady throttle and it's like it's fucking annoying. And yeah, I could get it remapped, but then I bought that bike for being a sport bike that could also carry a passenger. But now I need to decide, do I want a sport bike, i.e. the Ninja that's coming out soon, or do I want to finally pull the trigger on a Supermoto, which I've been thinking about for years. Since my DLZ was stolen, I've always had a soft spot for Supermotos since that bike. They do a lot of things right. Oh, imagine it with an exhaust as well, the brappiness would be even better. This has got a giant can on it and it's still got a lovely brappy nature. Nice to have an extended test ride as well. I've been out on it for an hour now. It feels like I'm living with it a bit more right now, you know. Just love the way you can go down the gears with it, and that engine is just like boom, boom. It's a really free revving motor. It feels like lively. It just feels, yeah, it's a lively motor. That's how I'd describe it. It's a lively while also being compliant enough in town. It's not buttery smooth. I've already said it's never going to be as buttery smooth as an engine with more cylinders. The added joy of this in town is the manoeuvrability, the lightweight, the visibility, the punchy power delivery. It's all stuff that you want when you're in town. Right there, going between them cars, my handlebars are so high up. They didn't clash with any of the mirrors. Now, it's a different story when you've got everyone and their mum driving an SUV, but on the odd occasion you do have hatchbacks side by side. You can actually get through without having to thread it through the mirrors, because you just ride over the top of them, which is very nice. So, since the camera died and rudely interrupted me, let's conclude. How do I feel? Well, it subverted my expectations in several ways. The bike felt smaller than I was expecting. Its physical presence is less daunting than I had expected. The engine is not like any single cylinder engine I've ever tried. It's very zingy, free revving, but it's also got an absolute big boy slap of punch should you need it, and it makes a lovely brapping sound even with the standing exhaust. So with a proper end can it would be amazing. The suspension was way too stiff. That needs some serious adjustment for English back roads, because it was honestly, it was tiring. It was so bumpy. But yeah, overall, what a package. I think if you could get the suspension to a good compromise, you know, between comfort and sporty handling, what a bike, what a bike. Really, really liked it. Yeah, I've got some thinking to do now for sure. What do I prefer more? An upright bike with a bit of a rude attitude and a stonking single cylinder engine, or do I want a committed sports bike but with a buttery smooth inline 4 engine and a soundtrack to die for? It's a really, really difficult choice. At the moment I'm leaning towards Supermoto, just because I've enjoyed them so much in the past as sort of versatile do-it-all bike. However, there is something about the way a Supersport bike goes around the bend and howls when you build it up in the rev range that is just intoxicating. And of course, being a Kawasaki, because we're talking about the Ninja here, because that's pretty much the only road Supersport you can buy now, yeah, it's going to be utterly reliable, and it's bright green. That's a double win. Both amazing bikes, but such a tough choice. They're so different, but I need them to fill one garage slot, so it's hard to know what to pick. The only real answer is to have one of each, but that's just not realistic. I can't decide. I'm gonna have to stew it over, watch the footage, see how I feel. I'd take either of those bikes over my current bike. It just hasn't been what I wanted it to be, and I think that was my issue when I bought it. I was making it in my head what I wanted it to be, when it actually, I don't know if it was. And so I need to be careful not to make that mistake again, because changing bikes is an expensive hobby, and I'd rather not partake. Nice to be back on the Bonneville as well. It's very comfortable and relaxed, and the engine's got such a great nature, such a chilled out engine.